guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. So some of you may know that in June I moved down to Florida and I took part in what is called the Disney College Program. For those of you who don't really know what the Disney College Program is, it's basically a program run by Disney for college students to have an opportunity to come down and work for Disney. So I had originally applied for the Disney College Program for Fall Advantage of 2020, but I think we all know what happened with the world. It fell apart and COVID happened. So that program ended up getting cut. Fast forward to March of 2021, I got an email that said that the college program was coming back and if I was still interested in coming down, fill out an application and I would be automatically accepted. So that is exactly what I did, because I was so hurt when my program got canceled because of COVID, and I did not know if I was ever going to have the opportunity again. So as soon as I got that email, I immediately raced to fill out the application. So the Disney College Program was something that I had wanted to do since I was like a freshman in college, and I had been researching all of this stuff on what to expect and how the college program is going to be. I was looking up YouTube videos on things you should know before going to the college program, and a lot of them were very informative, but a lot of them were also very like fairy tale-esque. I saw so many videos that were like, oh, you're gonna have the time of your life, and oh, I wish I knew that I was gonna meet some of my best friends there. And while that, yes, to an extent is true, I kind of wanted the raw footage, the bad things that could happen, the tips on how to make your college program the best that it can possibly be. And I really didn't find much of that. So now that I have experienced the whole thing and I had the time to soak it up and take it in, I wanted to share with you guys 10 things that I wish I knew before I went to the Disney College Program. Now, before we get into it, I just wanted to give a little disclaimer. This is not how everyone's DCP goes. Everyone has a different experience. These tips are just based off of what happened on my DCP and what I would have liked to have known before going to my DCP. So my program was the first program to come back after COVID, and it was going to be from June 15th until January 27th. Now, I do have a little confession to share. I did self-term during my program due to medical reasons, and there was just a lot of other stuff going on, and I will make a video about that if you guys would like to see that. But regardless, I just kind of wanted to share how my college program went and hopefully help some of you guys who are prepping to go to your first college program. Now, I'm not putting any of these things in any type of order. Just because I say one before the other doesn't mean that they are more or less important. I just made a list. So the first thing that I wish I knew before the Disney College Program was that they can change your schedule whenever they want. This is one of the things that kind of shocked me when I went into my college program. I knew that I was getting thrown into a crew that was already established, and so I knew that there was going to be some instability in my schedule in the beginning, but I was not prepared for my shifts changing hours before they were supposed to happen. For example, I would be scheduled from 2 to 10 p.m. and I would go onto my phone to look at my schedule around 8 o'clock in the morning or so, just to make sure that it hadn't changed or anything, because there were a few times that I would go onto my phone and I'd look and I wouldn't be working that day anymore. Or instead of 2 to 10, it would be from 3 to 11 or something like that. Now, it does get better throughout your college program. It's just kind of that adjusting period where they don't really know where to put you and they're not exactly sure where you're gonna fit best. So they're just doing a lot of experimenting and just kind of seeing where you should be during your Disney College Program. The second thing I wish I would have known before going to my Disney College Program was that you can't really go to the parks whenever you want. Now, this could change in the future once COVID kind of settles down a little bit and restrictions are loosened, but right now, even cast members have to reserve a spot in the parks. You can no longer just show up to the park whenever you want. And one of the biggest things to keep in mind is that if you are caught in the parks before or after your shift, hanging out or going on rides, and you haven't made a reservation, you can get termed for that. This did make things a little interesting on my college program, just because a lot of the times when me and my friends wanted to go to the parks, it was kind of a last minute thing, and when we'd go to try and reserve something, there really wouldn't be anything available anymore. So for everyone going to the DCP right now while there's still restrictions, just keep in mind that you do need to make a reservation in order to go to the parks. Even though you are a cast member, you still have to make a reservation. The third thing that I wish I knew before going to my Disney college program is that you can't really choose your roommate anymore. Now, let me go into a little more detail on that because it does sound kind of confusing. You can request a roommate still, but what I didn't know was that even if you got placed with that roommate, that does not mean that you are sharing a room with them. In the past, cast members have kind of been able to pick which room they wanted in their Disney housing based on first come, first serve. And usually, if you were the first one to get to your Disney housing, you could pick your room first, and then whoever you linked up with would get the other bed that was in your room that you picked. However, at Flamingo Crossing, the new Disney housing, you can't really do that anymore. When you get your housing information, you have a room that you are specifically assigned to, and it'll say A1 or B1, and that means that you are in room number A on bed number 1. Now, I don't know if Disney did this to kind of pull you out of your comfort bubble and be able to meet new people, but I know personally when I got to my apartment and found out that me and the person that I had linked up with were still sharing an apartment but not actually roommates, I was a little bummed out. You know, I had specifically requested this person because I got along with them really well, and I was just kind of a little let down that we weren't able to actually be like true roommates. Number 4, and probably the biggest one that you should know before going to your Disney college program, is your income, what you are making at Disney. Now, many of you probably know this because I'm assuming if you're watching this, you're getting ready to go to your first Disney college program. But the new Disney housing, Flamingo Crossing, is a little bit more expensive than the old housing was. Now, what you pay per week kind of depends on what room you have. I know there's a 4-bedroom, 4-bathroom apartment. I know there's a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. And the one that I had was a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment. For my apartment, the 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, I was paying around $225 per week. Now, to some of you, that might sound like a lot. Some of you, that might not sound like anything. But compared to what you're making at Disney, it's kind of a lot. Most Disney college program roles start out at around $12 an hour. So if you're not careful with your budgeting, you can run out of money. For me, at the very beginning of my program, I was going to all the parks and I was going out to eat all the time, and all the merchandise was so cute and I just wanted it all. And so I really didn't budget, and it ended up hurting me a lot. I bit into quite a bit of my savings that I had, and I was burning through my money like crazy. So the biggest tip that I can give you is just really budget, really be careful. You don't have to buy everything in the parks. I promise it will be there for a while. So just buy a few things at a time and really keep track of your budget and you'll be fine. And that kind of moves me into number 5, how much money you can spend on merchandise. Now, I am not exaggerating when I say Disney has some of the cutest merchandise I have ever seen, and when I went to Disney Springs, World of Disney, or just to any of the parks, all I wanted to do was get as much merchandise as possible. And again, going back up to number 4, if you're not careful, this can quickly get out of hand and you can burn through your money so fast. I want to say for probably the first 2.5 weeks of my college program, I was spending like $500 a week just on merchandise, you guys. It was ridiculous. Now, once I kind of realized how much I was spending on merchandise and actually that I had dipped into my savings quite a bit, I kind of chilled out and I set a budget for myself and all was better. The sixth thing that I wish I knew before going to my Disney College program was to not judge your location before you've even worked. My location was at All-Star Movie. I was working in the quick service food and beverage, and when I first found out what my role was, I was really disappointed, you guys. I'm not even gonna lie. I was really sad that I wasn't actually going to be in one of the parks. So right off the bat, I was not excited about my role. So when I went in for orientation and I started working, I was just kind of miserable because I just wanted to be in the parks like all my friends and all my roommates. Now, after about a month of working, I quickly realized that I had a lot of friends at my location, and actually it was a lot of fun. So I would say to give it about a month or 2 months before you start deciding whether or not you like your location, because I promise it'll get better. The seventh thing that I think you should know before going to your Disney College program is that if you have a car, try to bring it, because I promise it will make life so much easier. I was the only one out of all of my roommates that had brought their car. So I kind of ended up being the shuttle whenever we had to go to the store or when we wanted to go to Disney Springs or anything like that. And my roommates were always complaining about how the buses were always full, or they weren't on time, or they just had to wait for so long. One of my roommates even had to wake up at 4:30 every morning and get on the bus just to make it to work by 6 o'clock. And I was always just baffled by that, because Disney by car is a 15-minute drive from the Disney College housing. So it just blew my mind that my roommates were having to get up an hour and a half before they were supposed to be at work just to get to work on time. Having your own car also comes in really handy when you want to do things outside of the Disney bubble. You know, if you want to go to the beach, or if you want to explore downtown Orlando, or if you want to do something that doesn't involve Disney transportation, it is really, really helpful to have your own car. Now, I know for some people, bringing your car isn't really an option. Either you share it with a family member or you just live really far away and you just don't want to bring your car. And that's fine. But what I would suggest is that before you arrive, talk to your roommates and see if one of them is going to be bringing a car, because it really does help to have at least one car per apartment. Number 8 on my list of things that I wish I knew before the Disney College program was to make friends outside of your apartment, outside of your roommates. I know that they're going to be kind of the people that you just gravitate towards because those are the people that you linked up with and you want to be best friends with your roommate. I get that. But there are so many other people working in Disney and sharing the same complex as you, and there are so many opportunities to make such amazing friends outside of your apartment. And you know, if you're not necessarily a person who likes to go out and do things, you don't really have to. Go down to the pool or go down to the common space and try and play a game of pool with someone. Just interact with people outside of your apartment, because you are going to make some of the best friend groups ever in this college program. And a lot of those friend groups are going to be the people that you continue talking to after you're done working at Disney. The 9th thing on my list of things I think you should know before going to the Disney College program is explore outside of the Disney bubble. I know when you're working at Disney, all you want to do is just Disney, Disney, Disney. All you want to do is go to the parks, all you want to do is go resort hopping, but trust me, you'll want to explore Orlando itself too. Whether it's going downtown Orlando to shop or eat, or just kind of explore the city. Or you can even go to Universal and get a annual pass there, which actually, if you're working at Disney World, even if your permanent resident is not in Florida, you can get the Florida resident discount because you are working in Florida. I know going to the parks and going and exploring all the things Disney has to offer is going to be something that you guys want to do all the time. But trust me, it is so fun going out and actually exploring Orlando and exploring what Orlando has to offer, because it is an amazing city, you guys. Now, the 10th and last thing that I wish I knew before I had gone to the Disney College program was to not forget to have fun, you guys. When you're working like crazy and all you do all day is interact with guests and work at Disney, sometimes it can be a little hard to want to be at Disney when you're off. Sometimes for people, it's not that big of a deal. And you know, like, everyone's different, everyone has their own experience, but for me personally, I found that it was kind of difficult to want to go to the parks on days that I spent working, because I was just very tired from interacting with guests all day, and a lot of those jobs are extremely physical and require you to walk, require you to run, require you to lift stuff. Like, you're on your feet all day. And so the last thing I kind of wanted to do was go to the parks and walk some more. I just kind of wanted to go back to my apartment and sit on the couch and watch TV. And it is so important, you guys, to not do that. I know that when you're exhausted, you kind of just want to go back to your apartment and relax. And you know, sometimes it's okay to do that. It's okay to have a rest day. But also, don't forget to go to the parks and have fun. Go on the rides. It is so much fun going to the parks as a cast member, you guys. It is such a different experience than it is going as a guest. So if you're about to get off work and you're just kind of like, oh, you know, like, I just don't really feel like it, I just want to go home and sit on the couch, that's fine, sometimes. But don't do it so much that when your college program ends, you regret not going to the parks more. Now, the very last thing that I want to talk about before I end this video is something that I get asked a lot, and that is, does working at Disney ruin the magic? And I know I've heard a lot of people answer this question like, oh, absolutely not. It's always a magical place and I never get tired of it. And oh my gosh, how can it ruin the magic? There's some truth to it, but at the same time, like, I don't like sugarcoating things. I like being honest. And for me, the answer is yes, it can ruin the magic if you let it. If you're going to work every day with a bum attitude and just not looking forward to it and not enjoying interacting with guests, and you're just kind of like, ugh, I don't like my role, I don't want to be here, I wish I was working another role, yes, it can ruin the magic. So the most important thing, in my opinion, is to just go into work every day excited to interact with guests and excited to make magic. You guys are working for the most magical place on earth. And no matter what your role is, at the end of the day, you're working for the mouse. And that is amazing. Working for Disney was honestly the most amazing thing that I have ever done. And I hope someday that I can go back to it as a full-time cast member instead of participating in the Disney College program. So definitely don't take advantage of it, you guys, and really, my God, I'm trying to record a video. These dogs, I swear. At the end of the day, guys, you are working at the most magical place on earth. And please, please, please do not forget that, because it makes everything worth it. I promise. All right, that's gonna do it for this video today. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you liked it, please leave a comment and subscribe and leave a like. It really helps out with knowing what you guys think and how you guys like my videos. So, see you guys in the next video.